Alright. Good morning, students. We are still busy with our proposal writing, and I had given you 2 introductory classes, and today what we are going to do is practice an actual proposal writing. So I said the word limit for it is 150 words, and the marks allotted is 10. Right? So you have to basically remember to include 6 points. 6 points. Alright? And the first is a title. A title is to be given. And since it is a proposal, our title will start with the word proposal for whatever be your project, because we are concentrating on a project-based proposal. So here we have the title. This will be a title: proposal for a literary club. Proposal for setting up a literary club. Alright? So like for instance, let's imagine the question is write a proposal for setting up a literary club in your school. Now naturally this proposal is your plan, your suggestion for setting up this particular club, and this has to be approved by the head of the institution. That's your principal or your headmaster, the head of your school. You need his permission, you need his approval. So you place this plan, this scheme in front of him, and he shall approve it. Okay. So it's since it is a formal, a proposal is always a formal thing, and therefore it is to be written, given or submitted in the written form. Okay. So that's the title. Then the next point is, it's also known as introduction, or some call it a heading. Okay. So this is, you have you give it a heading or an introduction. You introduce your project, and it should contain at least minimum 2 points. Alright? Minimum of 2 points. So what is the purpose? It more or less goes to state what is the intention of this particular project. Okay? So I will write to foster literary interest, to foster literary interest in students outside the classroom. With students outside the classroom. Okay. That means to say that there are certain prescribed literature that we need to study. But besides doing this minimal study or curricular study, we take a little extra interest in water, and then And then this will have some purpose. So it's an extra activity, and the purpose of it is to foster or to inculcate or develop interest in students other than what the prescribed syllabus asks you to study. And this first purpose of it is to foster literary taste in students. And then the next is to so they foster interest, and then they also learn to, and they should learn to appreciate. They should also learn to appreciate literature as well as to develop their literary potential. Appreciate literature. So they learn to appreciate literature as a form of writing as well as their potential. Okay, so you have got 3 points here. In the one is to foster interest, literary interest. That is your first point. Then they learn to appreciate literature. That is your second point. And the third is they develop their literary potential. Alright? So foster means to develop. Okay. So you learn that you get interested. In other words, pupils get interested in literature. Not only of one culture, of various cultures, of various languages, of various times. Next. And then they learn to appreciate the beauty of literature. Literature is basically a reflection of life, a mirror of life it is called. So you learn to appreciate literature of all cultures, of all languages and of all times. So that is the second point. And then the third point is they develop their literary potential. Because every one of us has within us creative potential. Because just I told you in the beginning, language is basically a skill which needs to be developed and nurtured. In the same way, the literary ability that is in us, the creative ability that is within us, as maybe as an orator, a speaker, a person who can give fantastic speeches, or a person who can recite a poem beautifully, or a person who has got the ability to write a creative piece of writing, like a short story or a beautiful essay, and so on. So these abilities need to be developed. Unless we practice it, unless we do such exercises, we will not improve on it. And therefore, so that is what the second point introduction will have. Okay? Then, so we move on to the next point. Alright? We have already talked about the title. Then, the second point, that is our heading. And then the third point. We move to the third point. What is our third point? Third point, do you remember? We mentioned the third point is objective. What is the objective of setting up this particular club? Alright? Okay. So the objective means the aim or purpose. What do you intend to achieve with this? So it is to, so we shall state a literary club will help pupils. It shall definitely help the pupils to develop interest in literature. To develop interest in literature. Okay? It will definitely help them develop interest in literature of all times, as I told you. Of all times and of all cultures. Of all times and of all cultures, and help them appreciate the value of and value of literature as a reflection of life. Okay, so we have written the objectives. So about 2 points should be, this should contain a minimum of 2 points, I told you. So a literary club, so this underlined, here this heading, the title is underlined. So minimum of 2 points. A literary club will help pupils to develop interest in literature. 1 point. Of all times and of all times and of all cultures. This is not, literature is not restricted to one culture or one language or one period. So the Greek literature shall have its own merits. It will reflect the life of the people of that particular period. That's why it's called a reflection of life, a mirror of life. Okay. Then it shall also learn to appreciate the value of literature as a reflection or as a mirror of life. What do we see in a mirror? A reflection of yourself. So in the literature of a particular period, what you see is the reflection of the lifestyle, the life pattern of a particular period. So we have included 2 points there. Okay, so you can. So that is our third point, objective. Now the third point we shall be writing. See, it's to be written very briefly, and that's why I'm going about in this way. The next point, that's point number 4, is a list of measures. We have stated the objectives and we shall list out the steps that we shall develop or we shall put into effect in order to achieve our goal, our target. Okay? And it should contain a minimum of, I told you, 4 points. Okay? So you have 2 points here and 2 points for this. Alright? And 4 points for this. Alright? So when the marks is assigned, you get 2 marks here, 2 marks here, 4 marks here, and for your language, you will get 2 marks. Okay? So you have total of 10 marks. That's how the marks is allotted. Okay. Now what are the steps you are going to take? So the first one is a simple thing. You just have to remember sequentially how you are going to proceed about it. So I will say one after we have so many classrooms, one of the language classrooms shall be used for meeting and okay. So point number 1, where are we going to have our meetings held? And that is, we give it a particular place, right? A language classroom, because which is not frequently used, because the regular classrooms may be inconvenient because they may be having some regular classes, but these language classrooms, because is usually available when the language classes are not held. So it's convenient to make use of one such classrooms. And the next, we'll see point number 2. The meetings will take place so you have to give a time also, maybe once a week. Full hours from so we are going to have meetings, and meetings shall happen on a weekly basis, and it shall happen after school hours, once a week after school hours for a duration of 1 hour. Then what are the other things that we can do? Any activities? Okay, let's put it. Point number 1 is finished. Now, point number 2 is finished. Now we go to Saturday being not a full day, and basically the Saturdays are meant for activities mostly, correct? With less concentration of academic activities or curricular activities. So therefore, any specific activity the club will conduct shall take place on Saturdays, and it shall happen on such days. Activities or programs organized by, like for instance, some prominent personalities or literary figures shall deliver a lecture on certain things, how to become an effective speaker, or how to be a creative writer, and so on. Talks on such topics shall be conducted on Saturdays. Then, thirdly, so first, second point we have finished, and then we move on to the third point. So, any activities as such, meetings shall be held once a week after school hours, and activities and any speeches by prominent figures shall be conducted on a Saturdays. Then we move on to the third point. The next point that we shall talk about is how are you? What is the criteria for membership? That is point number 3 is membership. Membership of the club will be open to students from, let's say, 6 to 12. And then the organizational pattern. The membership to 12. Then the organizational pattern. Organizational pattern. You need a president, you need a secretary, you need a few other board members. So therefore, the president of the club Okay, so who will be the president, the responsible person in the club? Okay, then a senior teacher, and then 6 to, let's say, 8 other members shall be elected. Office bearers. Amongst the pupils. Okay? The next, so the office bearers. So we will have a small board, a president, and a few office bearers like secretary, treasurer, and so on. So 6 to 8 members from amongst the club members shall also be elected as office bearers. So this is clear. So this we are in with the steps that we shall take to organize this club. Next, we shall the next point. We shall move on to the next point. Then, what are the activities? We mentioned some of the activities. So the club will conduct or have a number of activities. Will have a number of activities from essay writing competitions, creative writing competitions, essay, creative writing competitions, then elocution, okay, debate, okay. So some of the activities that we shall be conducting. So that is the next point that we will be talking about. Alright, so 4 points. 3, 2, this was point number 4. Various activities that will be conducted. So minimum of 4 points, we have included 4 points in our list of measures. Now we move to the next item. That is the budgetary review. The big point is how are we going to meet our expenses? Now if you call a prominent figure in literature, even if they may not charge you anything, at least you have to give them the TIDA, that's the traveling allowance. Okay? You should make arrangement to bring them and to take them back. To go and fetch them and to take them back. At least that much we can oblige as students. Alright, so we don't require, for a literary club, we do not require that much of a finance. So if we have got 100 members or 200 members, that's more than sufficient. Let's see. Okay, so depending on the number of students, as nominal, we can charge a nominal membership fee. So, the budgetary needs. So, a nominal membership fee of ₹100 per student shall be levied annually. So, they will be charged ₹100. So, it works out to about ₹10 per month. Okay. Then, the final point that we have to include is a conclusion. Number 6. Conclusion. An appropriate sentence. An appropriate sentence that will express. We hope that the proposal will be accepted and many students will benefit from it. proposal okay. So you have your proposal complete. Alright? So a concluding sentence should be a proper sentence. So you have your complete proposal. Ensure you include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be put along with the 4 as well. It's not compulsory, it has to be separate. And 6. Alright? So this is how your marks are divided. For your points in the heading, 2 points, you get 2 marks, and 2 marks for your objective, and for your list of measures, minimum of 4 points, you get another 4 marks, and your language ability. That means, see, it's a short piece of writing in about 150 words, and therefore you have to be correct in your spellings, in your grammar, in your syntax, right? No scope for any errors. And therefore, remember, it's a language paper. In a language paper, your language has to be correct. Alright? So that's what. That's your proposal writing. Okay. Is that clear? That's your proposal. You shall find the format for this proposal writing in your English Plus, in your English Plus or in your English One Book proposal writing. You shall have it on pages. PP, that means pages 14 and 15. Alright? So that's where you'll find a format for your proposal writing. And